What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers brought in Gabe Vincent, and in my opinion, I thought it was a very solid signing, right? 6'3" type point guard. He can also shoot the ball, although he did struggle shooting the three ball last year during the regular season, but he really picked that up in the playoffs and got back to his average. And this is a guy that prior to last season was a very solid three-point shooter. He the previous year shot 37%, and then in the playoffs shot, I think it was like 38%, which was very good. But when the Lakers brought in Gabe Vincent, a big question was, okay, so does that mean D'Angelo Russell's gone? Does that mean Dennis Schroeder's gone? Or is he coming in to be the third guard? Like, what is going on here? What are the Lakers doing? And then ultimately we found out that, oh, it's Dennis Schroeder's replacement. Dennis Schroeder goes and signs with the Toronto Raptors, and the Lakers end up re-signing D'Angelo Russell. And it's like, okay, cool. You got D'Lo as your starting point guard. You got Austin Reeves as your shooting guard. My guess is Rui Hachimura, just because of the amount that they're paying him, $17 million a year. Unless they get Christian Wood. If they do get Christian Wood, then I could see them maybe starting him just to kind of appease him, to keep him kind of happy and in line. But we'll see how that goes, if that even happens. And then you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That's my guess, those five. So D'Lo, Reeves, Rui, LeBron, and AD. Great starting five, solid. And then you have a very good, very solid, just crazy depth type backup five, right? You got Gabe Vincent, you got Max Christie, you got, or you could go Taurean Prince if you wanted, right? I'm kind of a fan of that idea, having Taurean Prince at the two to kind of fit in the other sizable pieces at the 3 and the 4. But let's just say Taurean Prince. So now you got Gabe Vincent, you got Taurean Prince, you got Jared Vanderbilt, you got Cam Reddish, and then you got Jackson Hayes. Come on, that is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And Gabe Vincent is a guy, not a great playmaker. And you can make an argument that Dennis Schroeder's upside is better. Like when Dennis Schroeder is on and he's having himself a game, that dude is, 25-5, right? Like that guy is really good when he's on. Makes a lot of bad decisions down the stretch. Does a lot of questionable things. Doesn't have good vision as far as a point guard goes, but he is a very good backup, serviceable backup point guard. Gabe Vincent is a lot of the same things, right? He's a better three-point shooter though. However, he doesn't have great vision. He doesn't have the quickness and foot speed that Schroeder has, but he is a hard-nosed defender. He is bigger. He is a lot of things that Dennis Schroeder isn't. I also think Gabe Vincent is more consistent, right? Like there were times and moments where like Dennis Schroeder was either like really nice and on one game, or he was unplayable and you had to take him out of the game, right? You didn't kind of have that in between, right? Where I think Gabe Vincent, he's going to give you a solid, 9 to 12 points game in and game out. He's going to give you, 2 or 3 assists, play some hard-nosed defense, be diving after loose balls. He's going to be good. He's going to be very solid for this Lakers team. And also Gabe Vincent is a perfect, prototypical point guard next to a LeBron James team, right? Like think of like the type of point guards LeBron has always played with. He's played with, Deladovas and, George Hills of the world, Mario Chalmers, right? Norris Cole, like guys like that, have always had success, even on the Lakers, right? You had Avery Bradley, right? These like just defensive, hard-nosed sort of 3-and-D style point guards that they're not really great at making plays for others, but they can defend. They got, decent size, some of them, and, they can shoot the ball, right? Because the ball is going to go through LeBron James's hands a lot. And there has been a growing narrative that continues to be put out that we've touched on here before, but we're seeing more just reports of like Gabe Vincent may end up being the starter. Like he has a very real chance to be the starter over D'Angelo Russell. Now, I don't buy it. I don't. D'Angelo Russell is better than Gabe Vincent. Like he just is, right? Even in the playoffs, as much as people like to rag on D'Lo for his poor play in the playoffs, he still had a better overall playoffs than Gabe Vincent did in like every statistical category. So D'Lo, as bad as people look at D'Lo, Gabe Vincent wasn't better, right? Like he could play defense. He didn't really get played off the court, right? Like D'Lo had his in that Denver series was rough, right? And it's his lack of defense is a problem. But he's got great size at 6'5". He's got much better court vision and is a better distributor, better playmaker. He shoots better. He shot nearly 42% for the Lakers from the field. He shoots like 55% or something like that from 2-point range for the Lakers when he was on the Lakers, and shot 40 or 50% total from the field. So he was very good for the Lakers. And you got to imagine a full season. He's got a new contract, so now he has that pressure kind of taken off to where, like, hey, I can just go play ball. I don't have to. I got 18 million next year or 18.5 million, whatever it is next year. If, as a safety net, let me just go out and hoop, right? And he had never been that far to the Western Conference Finals. So you imagine if we make that spot again, he's a little more comfortable, has a better understanding. The Lakers also have more depth, so they're not going to have to ride him and rely on him as much as they may have in previous seasons or this previous season. And I think that you may see a lot more comfortable D'Angelo Russell, and especially in the regular season. D'Lo has never been an issue in the regular season. He is actually one of the better regular season players, period, right? And it's always been the playoffs, but it's not like he's had a world of a playoff experience in every year. He's not James Harden, where every year James Harden's in the playoffs and every year he just underachieves and underperforms, right? D'Lo's only been to the playoffs 3 times in his career, something like that. So, I mean, you got to get that experience, right? You got to get that under your belt. The Lakers wanted D'Lo. Now, with Gabe Vincent, I do think it makes D'Lo easier to swallow if you have to trade him. Pause. But if you have to trade him, I do think D'Lo, it becomes easier to move him, because it's like, okay, like if we, just using this as an example, but let's say you go and you trade for DeMar DeRozan, right? At like the trade deadline or something. Chicago's still terrible and they're blowing it up, right? Okay, let's go get DeMar DeRozan, gives us another star in case LeBron leaves next year, so we can figure it out, right? That kind of thing, right? And you trade him, and it's like, well, now what do we do at the point guard position? Well, you got Gabe Vincent. You could always move Austin Reeves to the point guard because you still have LeBron James on the court if need be, and you're good, right? So trading D'Lo is definitely still on the table, but I just think as long as D'Angelo Russell is on the Lakers roster, he is the better player. He is not the better defender, but that is literally the only thing that Gabe Vincent has on D'Lo. D'Lo is bigger, he is taller, he's a better playmaker, he is a better shooter, he is a better creator, he's a legit 3-level scorer. D'Lo is not losing that starting job to Gabe Vincent. He's just not. Gabe Vincent signed knowing he was going to get the backup role with the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't believe for a second that the Lakers said anything to him about being the starting point guard. I do think that they will give him a chance. Like, I do think competition and healthy competition is a real thing. I think once we get into training camp, I do think Gabe Vincent and D'Angelo Russell will be going at each other. I don't think it's as simple as, hey, D'Lo, you don't have to worry about it. You're guaranteed to start. No, because you wouldn't want to, even if he is, you don't want to put that in his head, right? You want him to have to earn it. You want him to have to play it. Are you LeBron James? No. Are you Anthony Davis? No. Then you need to earn it, right? Like, that's how it needs to be. And so I do like healthy competition. I do believe that guys should duke it out, because what if D'Lo is just not clicking, or something's not working, or it's a little off, right? But even if D'Lo is slightly worse than Gabe Vincent during the entirety of training camp, D'Lo will still be the starter. Gabe Vincent would have to just be far and away just better than D'Lo, which I just don't see happening, because D'Lo is the better player. But I do think Gabe Vincent will have an absolute impact. I do think some nights he will start, because D'Lo's going to have nights off, or if Austin Reeves has a night off, you can move. The beauty of D'Lo is you could always move him to the shooting guard if you need to. Although I do think that they would just bring like a Max Christie or something into the starting lineup. But if for whatever reason you needed to, you could just always slide D'Lo to the 2 and then have Gabe Vincent play the point, because D'Lo's been great off the ball last year for the Lakers. But Gabe Vincent, again, he is a perfect complement to a LeBron James team. But so was D'Lo. D'Lo, again, he played off the ball very well. He's not the defender, but you have plenty of defense. You have plenty of guys that can defend. And in the starting lineup, you'd have Rui, you'd have LeBron, who has shown that he can still defend if he needs to. You got Anthony Davis, who was the best defensive player in the league last year. You got Austin Reeves. Like, you'll be fine in that department. If for whatever reason you're getting torched, you have Taurean Prince, you have Cam Reddish, you have, Max Christie, you have Jared Vanderbilt. Like, there's plenty of options. And if you need to, you could always bring in Gabe Vincent, right? Like, if D'Lo just doesn't have it that night, or you need to get a stop, hey, D'Lo, come sit down. Gabe, you're in. Let's go get that stop. Let's go put that ball pressure, the full length of the court, stuff like that. Like, that's what I think Gabe Vincent's role is. But I think part of it is just, it's slow right now. You need conversation, right? I think that's part of the reports, because it's been, like, heavily reported. Right? Like, that he has a real chance and a real opportunity to start. I just don't believe it. I don't. I believe the Lakers will say that. I don't think the Lakers, like I said at any point, hey, you're going to start. But I do think that they said, hey, look, if you earn your spot, you earn your spot. Right? Like, if you earn your starting minutes, you earn your starting minutes. Right? And, I mean, that's what he did for Miami. So I'm sure he's okay with it. And D'Lo, D'Lo's going to have to be okay with it. But I don't believe the Lakers re-signed D'Angelo Russell with the idea of he's going to be our $18 million a year backup. I just don't. You're paying Gabe Vincent backup point guard money anyway, right? I mean, he's making less than Schroeder just made with the Toronto Raptors. So I think it'll be healthy competition. I think it's just to kind of keep guys uncomplacent, right? And keep them ruffled, and hey, this isn't just a cakewalk, right? You gotta actually earn this, and that's just kind of where I leave it at that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you think, like, yeah, it's just total nonsense? Like, he's not gonna start over D'Lo. D'Lo's a better player. Do you think, no, like, yeah, there's a real chance? Do you think it's just, for the sake of the game, the sake of the competition, right? Yeah, nothing comes easy. You got to work for it. You bust your tail, and you're not just gonna get what you want to get, right? So, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. However you think, down in the comments.